Welcome back to the Red Path. Today we're going to have a quick look at the World Eaters that are competing in the London Grand Tournament. Welcome back, everybody. Just wanted to do a quick video giving a shout out to the 4 players, at least that I know of, that are competing in the LGT this weekend. Good luck to all of you. I'm just going to do a quick video looking at the list that those folks are going to be running and looking at the first mission, which is the only one we can really kind of have a look at the moment, because we know their opponents and the armies they're going to be facing. So round 1 is going to take place on GT 2021, Mission 12, Scorched Earth. I've got it up on the screen right now. This is a rough layout of how the terrain will look, and we can go down here and get a more in-depth look at how the objectives are placed and everything else. This one has the mission secondary raise, which is if you, it's an action that you perform at the end of, you start in your movement phase and it happens at the end of your turn. You can remove the 2 objectives from your opponent's deployment zone. You get 6 for each one, so a maximum of 12. Not a very popular one, but it's not terrible for a World Eaters army. So we can see here we've got some decent terrain here, lots of line of sight blocking stuff going on. The objectives are fairly well protected in your own half, especially if you've got small units that, you know, like Chaos Spawn or something like that, that can just sit and hide behind the obscuring terrain there. Bit of a fire lane down the middle, and there's some good angles you can draw from DZ to DZ, but overall it's not a bad terrain setup. I quite like it. There's a bit of variety there. I don't really see any craters. I'm not sure what the jagged black line in the middle is there, but anyway, so 6 objectives. It is hold 1, hold 2. It's taken hold. So all in all, it's not a bad one for World Eaters. You know, to hold 3, you're going to have to move out, or to hold more, sorry, you're going to have to move out to the center, which is where we kind of like to be anyway. So not a terrible first mission. So let's have a look at the lists. Just before we do that though, the 4 players that are representing World Eaters, we've got Jack Beeman, we have Tom Madden, we have Victor Holtling-Schuberg, sorry mate if I mispronounced your last name, and Robert Hardwick. There may be a couple of other players who haven't declared their list yet, or are running a World Eaters detachment or something. If you are, good luck to you as well. But I want to go over these 4 because I was able to confirm that they are running pure World Eaters. So we're just going to have a quick look at those lists. So the first one here is Jack's, and I've got it up on the screen now. If you're on like a cell phone or something, it might be kind of hard to read this, but I'm just doing this video quick. So obviously we got 1999 points, so close, almost perfection. We are running a Dark Apostle as the Warlord with Violent Urgency and the Banner of Rage with Illusory Supplication, pretty standard. Does everything you want it to do. You've got all those stacks of auras, you've got the +1 attack once again from the banner, and of course we've got Khorne. Very popular picks for HQs, no real questions what's going on there. We have a small squad of cultists with the pistols and weapons, so probably going to sit on the back objective and hopefully be able to chip a couple wounds if they get charged by something insignificant. Then we have 4 MSU of Berserkers. 2 of them have got Lightning Claws on the champ and 2 are just Sword and Axe. I know where these guys are going. We've got 2 Volt Tempters. Great choice, especially with Khorne. They have very consistent damage output. They're going to do some work, and on this mission with the firing lanes that we could see, should be able to, you know, tally up some skills. And here's what I like in this list. We've got 2 squads of Terminators. Doesn't look like Red Butchers has been lumped on either of these, but we've got one with Bolters and Lightning Claws and one with Melter and Lightning Claws. So both of these, even without Red Butchers, are going to be great in the fight phase. Just the sheer number of attacks with the native reroll wounds of the Lightning Claw, very effective. We've got one with Bolters, obviously your anti-chaff, and one with Melter. This is going to drop in, delete a vehicle. If you're able to drop in near Khorne as well for those rerolls, going to be very effective. Then in our fast attack slots, we've got 2 squads of 5 raptors. Well, it looks like the champion on one of them has a chain axe. See the 76 points. Then we've got the mass blob of warp talons. So I would guarantee 2 CP being spent for frenzy there on the talons and at least 1 raptor, depending on how Jack plays them. He may frenzy all 3. I'm currently running the same build myself. My talons are going for an alpha strike. I use 1 squad of raptors to come out and get a rod on first turn in one of the enemy quadrants, and the other one sits back to be a bit of a dealing with any threat that's coming, hold an objective, and you don't want to throw all your forces forward typically. And then the everything we're here to see, 2 Terex pattern drills. So the berserkers are almost certainly going to go in the drills. I'm not sure if Jack's the sort of player that likes deep strike or start on the board. With illusory supplication, I'm guessing there's a strong chance he'll start on the board, but you don't know, and it's going to be dependent on the mission. The terrain in this one does look like you could get some decent hiding and swing around that center to get off like a cheeky 8-inch charge somewhere, especially with violent urgency. He is playing a Drukhari player, Gabriel Soso. Not that Gabriel's going to be watching, but if I've mispronounced your name again, I apologise. Drukhari list here. It's an interesting Drukhari list. I'm not going to bring it up on the screen. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's not your typical meta list, but it's certainly got some teeth, as pretty much anything in Drukhari does. So this is going to be a good one. I'm just going to jump back to the... if I can find my mouse. Completely disappeared. Okay, here we go. So, looking at the mission, there's some decent cover there, but there is quite a lot of visibility through the middle. So, with the solid black L and the smaller terrain piece in the bottom right and top left corner, and then in the middle, these are smaller single story terrain pieces. Let's just scroll up here. So we've got the types of terrain. So we've got a medium L shape and a small L shape is what those are. And in fact, we can see here. So it's going to be a little bit tougher to hide raiders and stuff behind them with the 2 large pieces of obscure just in the middle. And it's going to be interesting. And Volkite Contemptors are very, very strong against Drukhari with their strength 6 Volkite and Drukhari just either being typically T3 and T6 with not great saves. So I don't want to put any pressure on Jack, but I don't think he should be very worried about this mission unless Gabriel, who is a very competent player, which is entirely possible. It always comes down to that. But I'm feeling confident for Jack in this mission. I think he should be able to just hold back just enough. Make sure, he hopefully backlines his Contemptors just enough so they're not going to be getting a turn 1 charge on him. And he can just mow things down, pop those transports. If he does start his drills on the board, he may be able to pop a couple transports there and then just hose down the Incubi and the Trueborn and whatever else jumps out. I don't think it'll be an easy win by any means. It'll be a hard one to run away with on the points. Just because the sheer numbers, it's very easy for Drukhari to play well into the primaries, and they do have some great secondary picks as well. But yeah, I'm happy for Jack in this mission. So let's look at Tom's list, Tom Madden. This should be Tom's list. So we're running something a little bit different here. We've got a battalion of World Eaters, and if we scroll down, we've got a super heavy. Yeah, we know what's coming. So we've got a Chaos Lord in Terminator armor with Violent Urgency and Blood Hunger. Blood Hunger is the relic, which, if I remember correctly, allows you to regenerate a wound when you kill a model on a 4+. Combi Melter and a Chain Axe. It's an interesting choice. Maybe I'm missing something. I probably would have gone for a Lightning Claw at the same price there, or a Power Axe even, just for the extra AP. But I could be missing something. Unless Blood Hunger is a mistake in his list, and it's meant to be Gorefather, which is really the only reason you'd take a Chain Axe at this point. Nevertheless, maybe you know something I don't. Then we've got a Master of Executions. Again, something I don't know. I can't comment here because the rest of the list is pretty solid. So we've got 2 squads of 10 cultists with auto guns. Then we've got 4 squads of berserkers, all MSU. We've got icons on 2 of them, and then 3 of them by the looks of it. Yep, icons on 3, and 1 just as it comes, all sword and axe. In the elites, we've got a greater possess, which is going to feed into the fast attacks here in a moment. We've got a squad of red butchers, so yeah, the Lord isn't red butchered. It's just the squad with a chain axe and combi bolter, and then a chain fist on the champion. Not bad. I mean, chain axe aren't bad. It's not optimum because for the same price you get the lightning claw. It could just be that's how he's got them modelled. And you know, it's thematic as hell. Love it. So then we've got in the fast attack 2 squads of 5 warp talons. This is an interesting choice, and I was trying to figure out the justification for it because generally with warp talons you want to run 1 so it's more efficient for your stratagems turn 1. Could just be having some redundancy. I don't hate the play. I don't. It does give you a couple options, of course, if you're fighting an army and you can get both up for a turn 1 charge and they have units they're not going to really want to interrupt with. You can do some absolute work against screens, but we'll see. Then we've got 3 rhinos with combi melters. There's a Helldrake in there. There is a Helldrake. I missed that one. Interesting choice with the warp talons. That's pretty good. This army is going to push very aggressively forwards because we're running 3 rhinos with combi melters, so we can of course advance them and either pop smoke on them or still fire the combi melter. So that's going to be interesting. I want to know where he's spending his apoplectic frenzy points. And then finally we've got a Khorne Lord of Skulls here. So with the Gore Storm and the Hades. So this is a great list. It's obviously drawing a lot from some pretty popular World Eaters lists right now, especially with the Khorne Lord of Skulls and Warp Talons. Stick and Melter on Rhinos is alpha play, got to admit it. I was against it at first, but I've had it used against me. I've seen it come off. For 10 points, you know, it's a great option to have. You can still fire it when you advance, and you can fire it into combat. And no one really wants to fire at a Rhino. So yeah, solid list. Obviously, there's some slight efficiency issues there, but that could just be rule of cool, or maybe there is a secret going on. And Tom's going to be facing Alex Jones. I'm guessing not that Alex Jones, who is running Dark Angels. I suppose it could be that Alex Jones, right? Yeah, so again, it's going to be the same mission. You didn't see that. So Dark Angels typically, I haven't looked at their list, you know, they're happy to just sit back. They do want to get either to the center of the board, which this is a good mission for us to face them on because the center of the board isn't nothing going on there, but there are 2 central objectives. I can't remember how their secondaries kind of stack up together, but you know, they're going to be happy to sit on in cover in the backfield with probably a couple squads of Terminators, and then just march forward with any Raven Wing or, you know, Talon Masters and stuff, and kind of meet you in the middle. Again, this Dark Angels is a tough match because of just the defensiveness that they can, you know, spike up. However, because they do like to sit back, if you can, you know, nab them early on, and the Khorne Lord of Skulls is very effective into Dark Angels, as are Warp Talons actually. That's an interesting... He may have a really good shot at this because Warp Talons, whilst it would be nicer to have bigger squads, they absolutely rip through the Deathwing Terminators. You know, you do, I believe, need to stack on the extra AP to ignore their, you know, we ignore AP and all that crap. But could have a good time here. It's going to be a tough one. Dark Angels is automatically a tough match. But the mission doesn't seem to play too great for the Dark Angels. And Tom does have some tools to deal with them. The Khorne Lord of Skulls and the Warp Talons especially are going to be generally quite effective. It's all going to come down to the game. The Greater Possessed is actually, that's what I meant to touch on. The Greater Possessed will obviously give +1 strength to those Warp Talons, so if they're within 6 inches, we'll be getting strength 5 with full rerolls to wound. You know, maybe he's going to send up the Chaos Lord in turn. Maybe he's just blowing everything on Frenzy. It's possible. It'd actually be very tempting in this match. It'd be a risk because if you go second, mind you, I don't know. This is not a bad match. This is not a bad match. It'll come down to player skill, which is exactly what you want. But it does seem like this list is very well equipped. The Master of Executions will have a lovely shot at taking out those Dark Angels characters which you need to get. If he can get in there, very well equipped. You know, it depends on their invul saves and everything else, but I'm not hating this. I'm not. I think he's got a lucky draw. For if you're going to face a meta army, it's nice to face one which are well equipped. And in both lists so far, it's looking fairly good. I don't think either player will get absolutely massacred here, and I think they have a fair chance of a win. So let's go on to the third list here. We've got Victor holding Schuberg, and again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. I haven't looked through this list because I'm almost guaranteeing we're going to get 3 squads of Mutilators. But let's have a look here. 1998 points. So again, so close. So we've got the Exalted Champion with Violent Urgency, got a Bolt Pistol and a Chain Axe with Gorefather, of course, and Khorne the Betrayer. I do appreciate the Bolt Pistol on the Exalted Champion. It just gives him that with the Demon Shell. Even though he only shoots on a 3, you can really pump out mortal wounds. And especially, although you can't re-roll Demon Shell, do obviously get re-rolls against characters, even in the shooting phase with the Exalted Champion. So, I like this. It's going to be interesting. You know, I do like the Exalted Champion. Obviously, we've got Khorne there, and we know what Khorne's doing. We have 2 squads of cultists, one with assault weapons, one with guns. Then we have, again, 4 squads of berserkers. They're really seeing a theme here. It's 4 MSU. It's not my list. We got lightning claws on all 4 of the champions. Then we've got icons of wrath on everyone. Yep, they're all 104 points. You know, so good. All sword and axe the rest of the way. Elites, we've got Deredeo with the Volkite. Yep. Victor and I actually had a conversation on Facebook about this. He really likes the Deredeo, and you know what? I don't hate it. With the Volkite, you know, it's got a couple heavy bolters, and then the I'm not sure which one the Iolus missile is, if that's the anti-air one or not. It's not terrible at 220 points. You know, we've all overlooked it. I think the Leviathan is better, and he is running 2 Leviathans with both with double storm cannons. That's a lot of DACA. This is interesting. I like this, Victor. And then, yes, we do have 3 squads of 3 Mutilators. For anyone unfamiliar and wondering why the hell there's Mutilators in there, because you drop them in on objectives or to rod or do whatever you need them to do, and they are, I believe, 9 or 12 wounds a squad. I think they're 3 wounds a model. They're only T4, but they got a 2 up and a 5 up. They're only in combat, so they're very cheap. But you have to get rid of them, because if you allow them a couple turns of movement or to get a charge off in the second or third turn that they're there, they will eat through anything, especially with the Butcher's Nails thrown in. Then fast attack, we've got a squad of 2, Chaos Spawn, presumably just going to sit at the back, hold objectives, or help out the cultists, and we have 2 Dreadclaws. So I'm going to guess the Berserkers are going to be dropping down turn 1 most likely. We've got Deredeos and Deredeo and the Leviathans probably circling Khorne, just clearing out everything with that ridiculous efficiency that Khorne affords them. Then the Mutilators to score Victor points. Cultists and the Spawn to hold backfield objectives. It's going to do the job. Again, on this mission, you know, you only have to hold 2 at the back, so you can, you know, leave your Spawn on one, the 1 squad of cultists on the other. You can shoot up another squad of cultists, drop your Dreadclaws on each of the center points. And Victor is facing Necrons from generaled by Aidan Southerly Gilmore. Be an interesting one. I'm not sure what dynasty the Necrons are running here. Obviously, they do have access, depending on what they pick, to like do a pre-game move, double obsec, things like that. But as has been mentioned to me many times, and I'm now advocate of, obsec and double obsec don't really matter if you're all dead. So, and Victor does have the firepower to destroy, you know, whether they're running 20 blobs of warriors or multiple 10 blobs of immortals or whatever. The storm cannons, the Volkite will help against the boats that they run, because this is the strength 8 -2 Volkite, which is very effective. Only 6 shots, but with Khorne there, you're probably getting 6 hits, more likely to get the wounds at strength 8, and you know, there's some good potential there. So this will be an interesting one. Again, I'm not sure what the Necrons player is running, but Victor does have the Daka. He's got the punch, like the Dreadclaws. If they're allowed to make combat, they will rip through vehicles for him. the Mutilators will come in and, they'll sit there and light cover on that right-hand central objective if he's playing up the battlefield there. Again, not a bad mission, not a bad opponent. I'm not overly concerned. We could see, several victories here in the first round for the World Eaters. So let's go on to the last list I'm aware of, which is Robert Hardwick, who will be facing Thousand Suns in his first game. So this is Rob's list. So we've got a battalion first, and then we also have an outrider. So the battalion first, we are rocking Chaos Lord, Intermi Armor with Violent Urgency, Chain Axe and Chain Fist. Ooh. So we've got Gorefather and a Chain Fist. That's a very interesting choice. Both being -1 to hit. So really relying on damage there. I'm unsure why you would get a Chain Fist and Gorefather, to be quite honest. Gorefather almost does what a Chain Fist does, but better. Except in very niche circumstances. Probably would have thrown a Lightning Claw on there with Gorefather myself. But again, I'm not the general here. Could just be the way the model's built, and it's throwing Red Butchers on there, so we're getting a lot of attacks. We've got the Exalted Champion as well, Chain Axe and a Power Maul. Okay, I'm guessing we've just got this is the way models are built. I don't mind the Power Maul in the current meta. It's just I have no models equipped with them. Berserkers wise, okay, we're seeing some fluff here. We've got squads of 8. We've got Power Fists on each of them. Looks like axe and sword across the board, and Icons of Wrath. So 4x8, big respect. We have 2 Dreadclaws, so squad of Berserkers in each of them. 2 Rhinos, squad of Berserkers in each of them. No accruements there or anything by the looks of it. Then in our Outrider, Outrider, we've got a Master of Executions. What the hell's going on with the MOE here? Dara just posted that he's going to be running an MOE for a while. So apparently there's something there I'm missing. Whatever. We have 3 squads of cultists here. Nice. Going to hold the... Oh, here we go. 3 squads of 8 Warp Talons. Yes. Yeah. You're either running, in my opinion, if you're going for, turn 1 charges and stuff, you're either running 1 or you're running 3. You run 2, you've got to be very lucky and selective with what you charge, because that interrupt will just delete 1. You run 3, you'll still get interrupted, but you're prioritizing which unit dies first, which enemy unit dies first. They're going to counter with, presumably you charge something that's got to die and 2 things, the equivalent of guardsmen or cultists, so you can just mulch through their screen turn 1. Which I'm assuming is the plan, because then there's not much firepower in here. It's basically, in fact, it is melee completely. The only shooting is going to be some incidental cultist fire from their pistols, and a couple grenades and combi bolters and things like that. So this is going for the kill. This is old school World Eaters right here, and I'm here for this. And the problem is, though, Robert is facing Thousand Suns, and they do have access to Warp Flamers, which you don't really want to charge. The Relic being Gorefather, we didn't take Brass Collar, which I completely understand. However, you're going to feel like you need it in this game. Guarantee it. Only having access to Scorn once a turn, you're going to have to be making sure you use that at a critical moment, and they have so many psychic powers and probably psychic secondaries. It's going to be tough to choose where to do it. Do you stop them powering up, or do you stop them scoring a few points this turn? What do you do? Hopefully that will get ameliorated for us in the Codex whenever it drops. However, I don't know what Daniel Toombs, the Thousand Suns General, is running list-wise. I'm going to guess it's going to be something, it's the LGT. It's going to be a good list, especially with them being very meta at the moment. So, out of the 4 matches, this one is, number 1 is probably the toughest enemy for World Eaters, in my opinion. We have tools for Drakari, we have tools for Dark Angels, we have tools for Necrons. Thousand Suns is a tough match because the Warp Flamers are very common. We have very little defense against psychic powers, and they are going to throw out a horrendous amount of mortal wounds. Now, the tools that Robert does have is a couple rhinos, which you can advance forward to absorb those smites and some of the psychic powers, which may affect closest units, but they're going to have stuff that can, we're just going to throw mortal wounds here. Power fists, okay, that will be good, presumably against the Scarab Occults, just with the sheer number of attacks, because at least 1,000 Suns do not reduce damage. However, there's going to be 5-ups on just about everything, so you're going to lose a little bit of AP efficiency against, if you're punching an enemy Rhino, for instance. But that is what it is. You can't foresee that. You don't know who you're playing against. Overall, this is probably the toughest match. The Warp Talon play, if Robert goes first and his Warp Talon play is strong and his opponent, doesn't position too well, or, allows Robert to charge his talons into those Warp Flame rubrics through cover or something like that. And I do believe Thousand Suns have a strat or something where they can move away from the charge, but that may just be a Warlord trait. I can't quite remember. If he can get in his lines, turn 1, and just, eviscerate as much as he can with his Warp Talons, probably blow most of his CP, you're probably going to want a fight again, with a tricky charge move there, or depending on what you're able to tag turn 1. It could go okay if he can do that, and then either wrap tag or move block with his Warp Talons. They're going to die. The AP on the Thousand Suns guns, the Warp Flame bolters and stuff, is going to chew through just about everything in Robert's list here, unfortunately. The Warp Talons is his point sink, and he needs to make sure they do the damage, because those Berserkers, I imagine, are going to die very quickly. That is the sad state of it. I'm going to assume the Thousand Suns is running as much Warp Flame as possible, and once those Rhinos are gone, mortal wounds are just going to absolutely devastate Berserkers, unfortunately, because they're going to be in the thick of things. This, like I said, I think this is the toughest match, but it's also probably the fluffiest list I've seen in a while, so I absolutely hope it does well. So to all the players, to Jack, Tom, Victor, and Robert, I wish you the best, and I wish everyone the best of luck, but especially our World Eaters players there. If you are able to, if any of these players make the stream, it would be awesome if you could jump on the streams that are going on over the weekend. Give them a shout out, tell them that they're representing, they're doing the Blood God's work. Hype them up on Facebook or wherever you may have access to comment on the LGT. I hope everyone there has an absolutely amazing time. It's going to be a huge event, taking place close to where I grew up as well, over in Lee Valley. So I'm pretty excited for this weekend. I think we're going to see some good results. I'm confident. I would definitely be. I would put money on out of these 4 opening games for the World Eaters. I think we'll win 2 of them, and I'd be also reasonably confident that we'd win 3 of them. It's going to be the Thousand Suns matchup, which is the one I would be very worried about. The other 3, I'd be fairly confident with the list these players have brought and the mission itself. So yeah, I'm going to cut it off there. Gone on a bit too long, really. But I just wanted to update everyone. Get you all hyping up our friends who are repping World Eaters. We've got a couple of folks here. They follow the channel a bit, chatting in our Discord and stuff. Good luck to everyone at the LGT. So until next time, folks, stay healthy, stay safe, and kill main bird.